comes a time in every girl's life when she's really got to ask herself, sometimes to ask herself, is she ready to be going steady? I mean, do you want to be honest, like honest, you know, one honest, first of all, let's see if they one day Johnny asks if he can stay from
3 important rules for breaking up.
All right, welcome back. This is part 2 of our paranormal experiences again. Between the Lines, Pedro Tiano. So let's just pick up where we're at. Last week we talked about the little troll looking like thing, the brown one, right?
Yeah, the little troll, brown little
Dundee.
troll.
Call it
whatever
Dundee troll.
we saw in Montebello in the house, yes. That was
Yeah.
the last thing we talked about in part 1.
All right, so part 2 we're gonna get a little more personal with our experiences alone. And
as you can tell, we're wearing the same thing we did in part 1.
Yes.
Well, because we're recording it back to back.
yes,
That's why.
it's just gonna be so long.
Yeah.
It was gonna be too long, longer than the first one, so we wanted to cut it in pieces.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get it started.
Okay.
Since you had an earlier experiences, why don't you share?
Okay, my earliest experience would be when I was probably in kindergarten, probably like 4 years old. I used to live with my grandma and my mom in East LA, and I remember just the house was always dark. I don't know why. She had like red curtains, and it was dark, and my room, me and my mom's room, was the very back room next to the kitchen. And I remember laying down and in the middle of the night and seeing cats on the floor. What I thought were cats. Yes. and and they would scratch the bottom of my feet. And I remember that. And I used to freak out because it just felt weird. I remember feeling the actual nails scratched in the bottom of my feet, and I used to tuck my feet in the covers. I would say it happened like 3 or 4 times. But the thing is that we didn't own cats. We didn't have any animals at all that I remember. And so I told my mom, and it was just one of those things that she didn't know what I was talking about. So it was kind of weird. So what's your earliest memory? That would be just the little troll?
The little troll was my earliest memory because that's the only one I had when I was younger. So was, I want to say 2004 or 5?
After the troll, you mean?
Way after the troll.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2005, 2004 was, I was playing basketball with one of my friends at Reggie Rodriguez Park, and we were playing basketball, and then he accidentally elbowed some guy in the nose who was at the park we were playing against, and he got his blood and he rubbed it all over his face.
But didn't he cup it?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, he cupped it, and then he rubbed it on his face. No, wait. Because there was 2. Because I have 2 instances. One of them, he
and
put
they
it
were
on his face.
and they were almost exactly the same.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to remember which one did what, which one did which. And anyhow, he wound up cupping his blood, and I think he put it on his face or he licked it. And then I was like tripping out. I was like, dude, you're not normal. I don't want, like, that was like, it wasn't scary because I've seen different things, but it was like why? You know, I'm just trying to play basketball. Like, why right here? You know, like let's meet somewhere else, not here. You know, let me just have fun. And then so that's what happened with that guy. And I was older, and the guy was like maybe like a teenager, like maybe in high school.
So this was when, like 2001?
2004, 2005.
Oh, so this was after. Okay, so Pedro had 2 experiences that were like the same exact experience.
Yes.
Which is odd. The first experience was a little kid that he was also playing basketball with. And he bounced the ball off, right? And it hit him in the nose.
Yes. It hit him in the nose, and the same thing happened. It started gushing. He cupped his blood. He cupped his blood, and this guy, he did it in his face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can say what he said after that.
Yeah, he told Pedro, "You're not going to get rid of us that easy."
Yeah.
That's what he said. And then 2 years later, roughly 2 years later, that's when the same thing happened to you with that older guy, right?
With the older guy, different person, older guy, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's.
So
that
what do
was
you
creepy.
think? What do you think that is? How's that?
I think it was
You think
Well-
it was a demon?
well, obviously it was something. It had to be because it said you're not gonna get rid of us that easy.
This story involves around the same area. It was, and I saw like shadow people. They call them shadow people. I don't know. And then again, I don't know. But one time I was at my Nina's house, and it was a back house. And my Nina was there, and my grandma was there. My Nana, she was there. And it was just us three. And on my left...
This is the house where the cats were, right? Where you felt
No.
the cats on your feet.
That house, when I found okay, so my family owned a property, a 2-on-a-lot property in East LA. Where I used to live when I was a kid was the front house, and that's where I would see the cats. This particular story is the back house.
Oh, okay.
Many years later, because when this was I was already with Pedro, so this was probably in the mid-90s.
You were with me when you saw
Story,
that?
yeah.
Oh wow, you didn't tell me.
But the cats happened when I was a kid, so it was the mid-80s.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
So same property, but the back house.
sense. Different location.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was in the back house, and I saw a person, like a shadow person. It wasn't on the wall, like when you pass by, you see your shadow on the wall on the floor. No, this was a person. It was not, what is it, 4D? What is this? 3? Like when you see a complete
4D.
4D.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was on my left. I remember it crossed this way, and it got my attention, so I looked. And I remember I saw it walk through, not through a wall, behind a wall, because you would go through the kitchen or the dining room, then the kitchen, there was a whole wall, and then I saw a front, because that's where a hallway was, which was the 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
For those who are watching this that's been in that house, my family, you know what I'm talking about.
You know the layout.
And there was 2 rooms, and there was a hallway and the big old doorway right there. And I saw it, and it went inside my Nina's bedroom.
The leopard one.
The leopard bedroom. They call it leopard bedroom because she likes leopard.
Yeah.
And that really scared me. It installed fear that night in me. Scared me a lot. And I would never forget that.
That says a lot. That says a lot because you never get scared of things like that.
Yeah, it was the only time that really, really freaked me out. Was I call it a shadow person. Who knows? Could have been a demon.
Could have been.
Probably is.
Maybe.
But do you want to talk about 2 things? You can talk about 2 things now, Pedro.
Go for it.
The
Which ones?
Kuwait. When you were in Kuwait.
Okay.
And then talk about Victorville.
Okay.
Or talk about Kuwait.
When I was in Kuwait, this was I want to say I got back in May of 2008. But before that, I was on the phone because I was towards the end of my tour. So I was on the phone. It was nighttime over there, daytime here. I was laying in front of my tent on the phone, looking up at the sky, just watching the stars, talking to my wife. And we were talking, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at the sky, and I see a couple of stars chasing each other like this, right? And then like that or whatever, going back and forth in the sky. And I'm looking, I'm telling her, hey, you know what? I go, tell her, you know what I'm watching? He goes, what? I go, I'm watching these 2 stars playing tag or chasing each other. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, they're just chasing each other like crazy, like if they're playing tag or or running away from each other or something. It's really weird, really freaky. And then what came in my mind was, well, two things. I was deployed, so I wasn't drinking, and I wasn't smoking any weed or anything like that. So I was sober, about as sober as I can get. So for sure, I wasn't imagining things, and it wasn't because I was under the influence of anything. And so it could have been alien or some kind of like military experiment. But like that's 2008, and the Space Force just started. Starlink was way after Elon Musk started. That was way after, and it wasn't a satellite because satellites don't do this. Satellites go like this, right? And Starlink would do the same thing, just like that in a link of satellites. But this one was just like going back and forth, like chasing each other, like almost like in a grid.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't come out of the grid, but they were chasing each other. So that was it.
Kuwait?
It was in Kuwait because I was already on my way back. We were just waiting to get replaced so we can get out of there and come home.
Isn't Kuwait like around all that like Mesoamerican? No, what is it called?
Babylon.
Like Babylon areas and stuff.
Well, yeah, where Jesus walked and all that stuff. All those.
And wasn't the giants over there too?
The Nephilim.
Yeah, the
the Nephilim were there. Yep. All those fallen angels, the Watchers.
See, what if stuff like that exists over there still? Not so much like giants, but what if like, because evil exists everywhere, but those stories existed there. So, don't you think that they would be plagued with some kind of like spiritual warfare there?
Almost like a norm, like they see that stuff like norm here over there.
Well, like when you're in a house and they practice witchcraft.
Yeah.
And then like freaky stuff starts happening because of that. Like, do you think that because of all these stories were there, do you think that it could be very warfare-ish over there, and people see things and constantly be...
It could be.
Like, not hauntings, but like, you know what I mean, right?
Well, I mean, the fallen angels are still here. They haven't gone anywhere. Because there's nowhere for them to go yet. I mean, there's somewhere for them to go, but it's not time for them to go yet.
You mean in another realm, right?
Yeah, so they're still around. So we just, evil still exists, so that means they're still around.
We'll talk about Victorville.
Victorville. This story, I don't tell anybody.
No one's going to believe it.
As a matter of fact, this might be even the second, maybe the third time I've ever tell it. This was in 2008. No, later. 2010,
later.
12. Somewhere around there, between 10 and 12. And we were in Victorville.
I think it was 10.
We had a 2-story home. We had a dog. We had a Rottweiler, and we had a Chihuahua.
Yes.
Alarms.
Yeah.
Alarms. Straight up alarms. So, and then we had...
None of them barked.
And none of them barked. And then, so in the house, it was my wife, my son, my sister-in-law,
her son, and her boyfriend.
Well, they were upstairs. Everybody was upstairs, and I was the only one downstairs watching TV. And as I was watching TV, it was night for sure. It was dark, and I was sitting in the living room watching TV. When all of a sudden, I see this bright light from the backyard, and it's bright, and it starts strobing. Right? Like flashing fast. And then this high, like pinching sound, like a high frequency, and went like, ee, and that paralyzed me. So I was watching TV, I was like this with my arm on the couch like this, watching TV, and all of a sudden the light came on, started flashing, and then that sound came on, and I was paralyzed. I was like, I couldn't move, like I was like stuck. And I was like freaking out because I was like, what's going on? Everything was bright, like as bright as you can. Like imagine imagine looking at the sun, but instead of being like you can't open your eyes and you can't see it, just imagine being in a bright white room where you can open your eyes and see, but it's still bright. And that's what I remember seeing. Everything was white. I was watching ESPN, and I remember being gone for what it seemed like a long time to me. Like a long time. And I wanted to scream. I remember wanting to scream, call your name, but I couldn't because I couldn't talk, I couldn't move, I couldn't get up. And I wanted to, but those lights were bright and that sound kept me where I was. Like it just kept me still like this.
So did you feel like somebody was on you, pressuring you, or how did your
No.
physically? How did you feel?
It just felt like I just couldn't move. It was weird. Like not like someone was holding me down or something was holding me down.
Pressure? Did you feel pressure?
It just felt like I felt stiff, like and I couldn't move. But it wasn't like stiff like someone was holding me down, or I was being held down. But it was just like I just couldn't move. Like it was super weird.
What do you think about that?
I don't know. You know that scared me. Well, it doesn't scare me, but it freaks me out because there's a lot of stories of people getting abducted. I'm not saying that I was. I'm not saying that I wasn't. I'm just saying that there's a time frame that I know that I was gone for like a while. What was more crazy is what you told me after, which was
Like later. So the next day, my sister, because he had already told me what happened, and I'm not gonna repeat what I heard because I don't like to repeat things. And so it's just all in my head, you know, whatever. And then my sister comes in, and I think it was the next day, and she's just like, she told me, okay, so basically what happened to Pedro is what happened to her. And I never told her. And she came and she told me about the lights and about how she felt and what she heard. And I was really thrown back by that because not that I didn't believe Pedro, but you know, like people experience like things all the time. Like I know people who's experienced things like in restaurants, you know, they say I feel this in restaurants or I saw this, you know, it's like, all right, you know, I'm not gonna argue with you, you know what I mean? Like you feel what you feel and you think you saw what you saw. That's great. But it's always a single story all the time. But this is like a story, same person, you know, I mean, same house, same time, and that's just makes it, that's on another level of stuff. And she told me the same thing, the lights, the sound, and everything. And her boyfriend was with her at the time, and he said that he didn't see anything at all. Her son was in the room with her, and he didn't see. He's old enough to see, and he didn't see. Nathaniel's bedroom was across from hers, and he didn't see anything. So I also, is this one of those things that I just don't know what happened. But I know this for sure, that that the same story that they said, a lot of people had said that story. I did my Google searching and stuff after that, like way years after, because Google wasn't really a thing back then. And a lot of, what is it, fourth kind or something like that, when
Yeah.
people get abducted by aliens, they experience the same thing. Where is that one thinking?
This is surgeon.
So yeah. So that's it.
Well, the thing too was that we have, like I said, we had two dogs, a Rottweiler and a Chihuahua. They didn't bark.
Oh yeah.
And you know, everybody knows Chihuahuas bark for everything, and she didn't bark at all.
And she was a barker.
And she was a barker.
My Chihuahua was crazy. Her name was Sally.
Yeah. No, Delilah.
Oh, Delilah?
Yeah, Sally was the other one that almost
Oh
got beat up.
yeah, I had another one too.
And the other thing was, the front room was in the back house, in the back of the house, and my sister-in-law's was in the front upstairs.
Yeah.
So it was two opposite sides of the house.
Yes.
So in order for her to see it, for me to see it, she saw it. My wife was asleep in the bedroom right here, and my son was on top of me, like upstairs where I was. But that's where his bedroom was, and he didn't see anything. but I did, and my sister-in-law did, and my sister-in-law, we never shared the story with each other at all. Like, at all. I told her, and then I kept it to myself.
And I kept it to myself.
Until now. And then her sister told her, and she kept it to herself, and then she told me, wait. And
then
she told
I
me,
told you
yeah,
after
and I was like,
too.
wait, what? I was like, no way. I was like, dude, that's crazy. So yeah, that was that story.
Yeah.
So that one, I would have to say it was aliens.
You play around like that, but then he gets scared at night.
Yeah, I do get scared. I'm not gonna lie.
He gets scared. He gets more scared than I do. And I don't know, maybe because he's more emotional than me.
I get more
Like, you
freaked
get
out.
more emotion. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes me time to get my emotions up front. I don't know, but all I know is that it's a creepy story, and it's just one of those things that we cannot explain.
No,
It's a mystery.
it is.
Unless you know what it is. Or you have the same experience.
Yeah, please, again,
You
if
can let him know.
any of these stories sound familiar or happened to you, please let us know.
Don't let
Because,
me
I mean, well, let me know.
I don't want to know.
Because I want to know,
He
you know,
wants to know,
bring
for
over
sure.
some, I was going to say some tacos, but I don't even eat tacos no more. But just bring something over, like a juice or something, and we'll talk about it all night.
Experience. I have an experience in a church,
Oh, yeah.
of all places.
Yeah.
And this is just in more deeper in LA. And there was without getting specific on things, there was a guy there that had a bunch of problems. I guess he was like a drug addict, right? He was super young or whatever.
Yeah.
And he, like, people were praying for him, whatnot. I think he was around for like a couple months.
Yeah.
And we were praying for ending, and for some reason we all had our heads down, and for some reason, and this is why I do not, I don't like to open, this is reason, and I feel like this happened more than once before, so when it gets to me, I will say it. For some reason, I opened my eyes in mid-prayer, and I just felt the urge just to look at this guy, and I saw him staring at me like crazy eyes staring at me, like if his eyes were like popping, like this show, like his eyes were popping out looking at me, and I was like, what the heck, what a perv. That was the first thing, man. And then I was like, what a perv. And then he started grinding his teeth at me, like grinding his teeth, and like grinding it, and like yeah, kind of like that, yeah, something like that. Okay. and he was doing that at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, I just started praying. Like, I put my head down and I started praying, and he that was it. Like, after the prayer was done, like, it's like everything went back to normal. Like, he went back to normal. So if that ever happened to you ever, let him know. He'll like to hear about it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We have 2 more stories to tell. I guess we'll start a UFO con. We went to a UFO con, or an alien con one time.
Yeah, alien con.
How did we end up being there?
I belong to this VetTix, this org, on the online for veterans, and they give out tickets. So
Good tickets.
yeah, I give out. I mean, I put in for like 3 tickets to this alien con, and I got the notice that we won. So I was like, all right, heck yeah, we're going to alien con. Of all
places, alien con.
Of all the things that I see, yeah, we're going to alien con. You know, like,
We don't make the best decisions.
no,
sometimes.
not at all.
We're kind of like curious.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Because we've been like ghost hunting. Oh my god.
Yes.
That's a whole. We'll be here forever talking about that.
Uh-huh.
Well, we've been like ghost hunting, you know, in like morgues. No, what do you call them? Cemeteries.
Mausoleums.
Mausoleums.
At Turnbull Canyon.
Yes,
Remember we got chased by
Those were
dogs?
the days. Those were the days.
Oh yeah. That's
But
different.
back to the UFO con. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The UFO con.
So we went to Alien Con and we ran into I don't know if you guys seen this movie, The Fire in the Sky. this guy got abducted.
You could put the movie right here.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So this guy got abducted. It's a true story and credible. And he got abducted for a while, and then
And then that alien guy was there.
Yeah.
Aliens, the
the
guy with the
ancient
hair.
alien guy
Yeah,
from
he
the
was
History
there.
Channel. I'll let you tell next what happened next.
Well, I remember being at the Alien Con and stopping at a vendor. I think they're called vendors.
Yeah.
And they were selling, like, I don't know what the heck they were selling. I just remember there was this guy. And he had like a flyer. And he was just like, here, passing out flyers, whatever. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to get the flyer. So I went over there. And we all went over there. And I grabbed the flyer. And when I grabbed it, he kind of like didn't want to let go of the flyer. And I was like, I was even going to let go of it. But I didn't. And I held it. And then I went like that. And he looked at me. And he did this almost the same face as the other face the guy did to me. But then he started, I don't even, like slurping his tongue out at us.
Like a snake.
Like a snake. And he opened his eyes really wide. And then he started just like, his tongue was just out. And it was just like you know when like snakes slurping their tongue out when they're smelling something? Yeah, it was just like that. He was doing that. And I was just, and then I grabbed the flyer and I remember just pulling it. And then I looked at him and then he just completely stopped. And he looked down and, that was it.
The guy looked weird himself though, right? He didn't look like hair normal-ish. Like he looked like
he was
like
a character.
Like he belonged to the Alien Con. You know?
You want to trip out, go to Alien Con.
For
There's
sure.
all kinds of characters there. Like, it was just...
Yeah.
I think it was in the Staples Center,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, the convention center.
This was right before the shutdown.
Yes.
It had to be like in 2000, like late 2019. It was right before the shutdown.
Yeah.
Experience. And then the last experience I want to speak about is also, it was at a church. Not at the church, but it was a church Christmas event.
Yes.
At one of the guys' house.
Yes.
You want to set the scene?
Yeah. So it was Christmas, and this guy's house was ginormous, like huge. Like this house, it belonged like in the mountains. Like it was like a cabin style home. So the inside was like cabiny ish almost. And I'm talking about like
brown walls,
yes,
right?
and ridiculously big. Like for whatever
Like
reason.
with art.
Yes, he had like a front room way on one side of the house, a big old kitchen, and then like it was like a split level, so it was like 2 levels, and then you go down, there was another front room, and then all the bedrooms and everything else was on the other side of the house. So everybody was like in their own groups having conversations. I think we were by the couch or something, right?
Yeah, because it was a Christmas event.
Yeah.
So the church people went, and the church wasn't small, so it was a pretty medium-sized church.
Yeah.
And people went and were doing what is that game?
The elephant.
The elephant game.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the games that we're doing. And I remember just being in. They had like an area was like. I don't even think it was like a living room. It was like a little. Had like a book room, like a reading room. I don't even know,
almost?
like a library almost. The house was very nice.
Yeah.
And I remember it having a fireplace there too, because now I remember a picture that was taken. I remember that. But anyways, we'll get to that. So I remember me and Pedro sitting down, and my son was, I think he was born, but he was probably a baby.
He was
probably with my mom.
I'm just a baby.
I don't remember he should probably. I don't remember him being there, but yes, he was a little baby like that. And I remember sitting down kind of like this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody was doing their own thing. They were talking and eating and whatever people do during a gathering like that. And then all of a sudden, one of our friends, she stood up in front of us, and she started. Well, how would you describe what she did?
I would say almost like a chant, but not like a but like more like a.
Like one of those Muslim prayers.
Yeah, like a Muslim women.
Like those Muslim women that pray.
Yeah.
And they do that.
That-
thing. That's what she started doing. Loud. And nobody was praying. Nobody was singing. So it's not like she was like speaking in tongues or anything. She just straight out did that. And then what happened after that?
We looked at each other. We were like tripping out. And then all of a sudden, like almost everybody,
all our friends,
all of our close friends, like remember we've in with these people. We've been to their house. They come to our house, so we hung out. All of a sudden, all those people that we know stand up and they surround her, like they hover over her like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a huddle, almost like a huddle, like this.
Yeah, around her.
And she's in the middle, and everybody's around her. Who knows what they're saying? Because you can't even hear, like, you don't even hear her say, like, Jesus, in the name of Jesus, and you don't hear anything.
They weren't praying.
It wasn't like that.
They weren't, like, laying hands. It wasn't like that. It was just, like, they all surrounded her and very close contact, surrounded her, hovered over her. I couldn't hear anything that they were saying, but she slowly stopped doing that noise.
Yes.
And it was weird because after that, everybody turned around and legit act like nothing happened. Like nothing. Like if they just turned around and like nothing happened.
Yeah.
They started eating, they started talking, and they started chatting and whatever, you know. And I always thought, like, what the heck did we just see? Like, we talked about that. And sometimes we still talk about that.
Yeah.
Because we still don't understand what we saw.
It was like in the Truman Show. Remember when they broke character, and then they went back to normal. It was like that. It was
That's
really
why
weird.
I always say this. I will take this to my grave because of all these experiences I have. I sometimes feel like I'm in the Truman Show. Like sometimes I feel like people are just acting.
Yeah, it seems like they're not real.
They're
It's not real situations.
Yeah. Because of that. Because it was weird. And I can tell you, I did bring it up one time to one of the person that was there. I think they hovered over her.
They were.
And I brought it up because it bothered me for many, many years. It bothered me and Pedro. And we never had the chance to actually ask anybody.
Right.
So I asked that person and she told me, I don't know what you're talking about. She doesn't know what I was talking about. And I was very descriptive. I told her the year, where we were, who it was, who was there, what was happening, what we were doing. And she told me, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, okay. But sometimes I feel like I get, like, there was a lot of, like, that was a cover up for something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was really weird. I don't know what to make out of all these things, but if she manifested, she manifested. But it didn't seem like that, especially because they were like...
You mean like she had demons and
yeah.
stuff? I don't know. But if that happened, then what was the rest of the people
Why
doing?
did they hover? Yeah, why they hovered? Yeah, so I don't know.
It's weird.
Super
But I
weird.
can tell you now that there was a picture taken that night. This might kind of give it away. I don't know if someone's watching. But there was a picture that was taken that night. And I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I don't know if this was just a coincidence. But they took a picture. And I remember that in the picture, they saw something in the fireplace. Do you remember that?
I think so.
I think they took a picture of somebody by the fireplace or something like that. And there was like a weird face in the fireplace that they talked about. But I mean, seriously, I want to be honest with you because I'm all about conspiracies. I think that was a distraction.
Probably.
Because what we just saw, then they took the picture later on that night and everybody was talking about that picture. And I was thinking to myself, I am never going to forget what I saw.
No.
So that ain't going to work on me.
Yeah, because not everybody that was at the party saw what was happening.
Right. That's another thing too.
Because it wasn't just us and the people and our friend. It was us, our people, and other people. And not everybody hovered and not everybody saw. But it was loud. Like, she just stood up and like, not like, I'm not talking about like, la la la. I'm talking about like, la, like loud. And it was like, only like certain people saw it and responded.
I was even looking around. And only certain people saw it. And certain people act like they weren't seeing it.
Yes.
Like they weren't hearing it. And it was loud. And that part I don't understand either.
Nope.
So if that ever happened to you, I guess tell him.
Call me.
But I did hear little stories that something similar like that happened. It wasn't... I remember my sister telling me that she had went to a gig, like a punk rock gig. And it's like a house gig. And that kind of the same thing happened to her. There was a guy there. I don't know if I told you. There was a guy there, and he wasn't like doing what she was doing, like, you know, the yelling and all that. But that he was kind of like huffing and puffing, like yeah, like that, kind of like that, but like more of like aggressive, like beast, like a bull, yeah, like that. That's what she said. She said that, and then she said that some people around him hovered over him. Exactly, it was almost exactly apparent, like almost the exact thing. She said people hovered over him, and that he slowed down, and that they turned around. And they continued to do what they were doing. And I remember her telling me that. I'm going to ask her about that next time I see her.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll get on the vlog.
It's like.
Has it ever happened to you guys? Has
it's like the
anything
glitch.
happened?
It's like the glitch in the Matrix.
Glitches. People glitch all the time. You can watch them on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let us know what you think about part 2. Let us know let me know if you've seen or experienced anything like that. The lights, the trolls, the people, the people smearing blood all over their faces, or the lights, shadow people, the cats. What else did we talk about?
Weird people freaking out, hovering over each other.
People just screaming out of nowhere and then like going back like it was normal, kind of like the Truman Show. So let us know. Drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe, because there's a lot of people watching, but not a lot of people subscribing. So subscribe, watch, like.
And we'll see you next time.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.